Hey everybody, Dr. Red here, and I am back with some more Magic Arena, the free-to-play experience. Just to let everyone know, off camera I did grind out every other free deck in order to streamline the process for myself. But as per usual, we'll still be doing a daily episode, as well as play a game with a slightly modified version of the deck I made after the fact. In this case, I'm not going to lie, these decks are not going to be perfect, even the modified versions. I'm just using cards that I've had to unlock with help from the other decks, as well as some random in-card rewards. On top of that, at the end of the episode, we're also going to be going through at least a few of the codes given out by Wizards to give you 3 boosters from 3 different sets. So in this case, we're going to be getting 3 Guilds of Ravnica, 3 Ravnican Allegiance, and 3 for more of the Spark. Plus, I believe the 2 packs we've just been sitting on for more of the Spark as well, but that'll wait to the end. But for now, we are just going to be going over, at least, how Wing and Claw is supposed to work for us. And here's a little 1.5 version I have up here for the games after the fact. Okay, so this one here is the Wing and Claw pre-constructed deck that is unlockable by you, the player. So what we're initially looking at here is, there's a theme going on here. We got a 1-drop, 1/1 flyer. At our 2 drops, we have One with the Wind, gives a creature flying and +2/+2. All creatures with flying get +1/+1 as an enchantment. We got a tempo play with this burst. Instant speed, we can bounce a threat, stall them out for a turn. Got some removal in the form of sealaways, another flyer, flying when attacking, and then we get into the little bit of the weird part of the deck where it comes with not flying creatures, but we have some mentor effects going on. So with Mentor is, whenever a creature with Mentor attacks, and there's another creature attacking with it essentially, if the Mentor has a higher attack than another creature, it basically is able to put a 1/1 counter on the other creature. So it's a little bit weird, because you got a lot of things that you'll be potentially able to Mentor up, but it kind of falls away from the going high in the sky to swinging. Because I'm not sure how often I'll rather be playing a Sunhome Stalwart on a board when I can get another flyer, especially if I have a favorable winds out. And that's continued in with our 3 drops with Blade Instructor, which I really don't like. It's a 3/1 for 3 with Mentor that, depending on the board, you're only going to be able to use 1 time. Sure, we have ways to give it evasion in the forms of One with the Wind or dispersing a threat out of the way, but it's not reliable. I don't really like this as a 3-drop. Our Pegasus Courser is another one that I'm a little bit iffy on. Cool, it's a flyer, that's great, it'll be a 2/4, it's pretty durable. But unless we have that enchantment out, it's a 1/3, it's kind of dumpy. You can let another creature attack as though it had flying, which is neat, but most of our creatures should have flying as is. And we're dealing with the same thing with Hammer Skull. It's another way, when you attack, it'll tap one of the opponent's creatures. Cool, you're clearing the way for your other ground troops, but I don't want ground troops, I want flyers. Same thing with the Aerosaur. Does another thing where you can temporarily give something flying, but a 3/3 flyer for 4, it's not the worst stat line, but it could be better. And we do have a soul copy of Settle the Wreckage. Now this card is terrifying. It's basically a catch-all attacking creature removal, exiling them. No bouncing, no graveyard interaction, they are gone. But they do get to search their library for basic lands and just shove them in tapped. But at least as far as Standard is concerned currently, there's a lot of decks that are only running 1 or 2 basic lands. So if you can just full-on sweep them, they're not really getting anything out of it. And now that we're getting towards our top end, we do have some bombs, some that I disagree with. I think they're just thrown in there, but we'll get there, of course. Sarah Angel, it's a 4/4 for 5. It's fine, I guess. Has Vigilance, that's cool. It'll be +1/+1 if we have our favorable winds out. We have Light of the Legion. I'm a bit more into this card a little bit. It plays decently well with our go wide, but this late in the game, my issue comes with anything that after, like, on turn 6 or later that enters the board and doesn't do anything. What's it doing for me? In this case, cool, it'll be a Mentor. It's a pretty beefy flyer, and if it dies, every white creature I get gets a counter on it, but that's it. It's not going to win me the game the turn it's played. It's not going to pull my ass from anything. It's not going to, like, lifelink my way back up. It doesn't have the same effect as a Lyra would. And why would I play this when I could play a Lyra? Azor is a weird one. It's in our color combo. It's relatively hard to cast. A 6/6 flyer, he thick, and it stops all instants and sorceries from the next turn for the opponent, but I don't know. I feel like it's another thing where at least this one, when it enters, it does something, but it just seems too late in the game for us to be relying on one card. Goring Ceratops doesn't fly, double strike, but same thing. No effect. Nazahal can't be countered, cool. But by the time we play him, with how minimal card draw we have in this deck, we're not going to be able to recur him. He's just a very expensive 7/7. And then we have our lands, of course. We have 10 plains, 10 islands, the one rare land they give you in the very slow guild gates. But what can I say? We're going to whip this deck out for a whirl, see how it goes. Alrighty. Let's hope Liberi doesn't just rope me for the first 5 minutes of the match. Now, what playables do we have? We have a Corsair on 2. Will give us access to Seal Away. Everything else seems a bit too late. Now, this hand looks exactly the same, with one less card. As much as I'm not too keen on Blade structure, it's going to be a playable. And I do have one with the wind, so if I can get that thing swinging in the air and not have it die, we actually might be in a pretty good spot there. So let's see, opponent plays Cinder Barons. He might be dealing with the black-red precon. Haven't covered that one yet. Definitely looks like it. Let's see here. What we're going to do is going to swing for the 2 here. Play our Glacial Fortress. And in case you guys just were... oh, that's not what I wanted to play our Blade Instructor. There we go. The difference between Meandering River and Glacial Fortress. Meandering River, no matter what happens, it enters in tapped. Whereas Glacial Fortress is a check land. So it'll enter in tapped unless we already control a plains or an island. Meandering Forest, or Meandering River, just a land. Plains, it's hard traded right here, basic land type plains. There's a few other cards that do the same thing, that'll be like shock lands and such, but let's see if our Blade Instructor lives. Come on. Let it live. Let it live. Oh, this end's already not great, please let it live. Let it show that I'm really good at video games. Okay, now I have to think here. What I can do, because I'm pretty sure he's holding on to a shock, so as soon as I hit one with the winds, this card is dead. But I'm hoping if I attack, at least the attack trigger will give me a counter on Corsair, and then depending on what he does, I can just disperse the skeleton. Potentially. We'll see how this pans out. Just doing a bit of a tempo play. Of course, none of the damage goes through here, but that is what it is. And in a perfect world, he taps out. On this turn, we can one with the wind. Mentor up our Corsair again. It's going to be a big, beefy flying lady. Okay, so he's playing a Harpy. Which is currently good for us, because the Harpy's not going to be able to block. Oh shit, this is going to be interesting then. I still like the one with the winds play here, so we are going to buff this up. He is tapped out, so we can't do another sack out for it. Then we have a 4/3 and a 5/3 in the air. Can only swing for 2. If they had an open mana, I would be concerned that they would have sacked their Goblin Instigator here, buffed it up, and been able to trade with either or. But what we can do next turn is, let's see, We have favorable winds. That's the obvious play. Sadly, our instructor got murdered. So he 2-for-1 does. This is what I was talking about a couple episodes back with creature enchantments being a bit sketchy. Because for that single card, this one murder, he was able to get rid of both our Blade Instructor and our One with the Wind. So he 2-for-1 does. Now let's see if our Corsair survives. Because right now, he got pretty low on HP pretty quickly. Will he do it? Will he swing? He will not swing. Perfect. So what we are just going to do for now, we're just going to whip out favorable winds. He doesn't have any interaction right now. Well, it's a flyer when it attacks. It says flying. It's a 5/4. We drop him all the way down to 1. So we're close. We're edging it right now. We just got to find a way to get a single damage through. Come on, don't have another murder, bud. Don't do it. Gonna get another skelly out. Oh yeah, in case you're curious where this skeleton keeps coming from, when it's from the graveyard, it's just showing it off to its hand for convenience sake. You can just spend 1 black mana and 1 colorless, return it to from your graveyard to your battlefield tapped. So what he's been able to do, bring it back, spend 1 to sack it to get a 1/1 counter, it dies, spend 2 to bring it back, and that's just a loop he can do just to buff out his Harpy. He's thinking. He knows he can't attack. And what I can do is just not too much. If I swing in, he's just going to trade my Corsair for his Harpy. It might be better in the grand scheme thinking about it just to get rid of that now. Yeah, it's looking like this thing's getting straight up murdered. So there's definitely a chance. He might just swing in now. It's his only threat, and everything we have flies, and I don't think this deck has many flyers just as is in the start. Oh, and to specify, Settle the Wreckage is a weird card. Instant speed. You exile all attacking creatures the target player controls. So if you cast this when they're not attacking, or on your turn, when they're not doing anything, that kind of stuff, it's going to be a useless card. You don't want to misplay it. And again, even now, playing Settle on an largely empty board feels wrong. I don't like it. But I want to nip this Harpy in the bud before it becomes an actual issue for me, because if it gets bigger than Light of the Legion, unless we're able to draw back-to-back flyers and go wide, I don't know what our game plan will be. He does have a playable, though. There's something holding priority. Ah, it's the Swab Goblin. It's just a bear, so it's just a 2/2 for 2. Nothing fancy. Luckily for us, we do have Light of the Legion, so unless they have more removal, which they very well could and probably do, he's targeting it. I don't like third murder on top, huh? I can't say shit. I think when we were doing our mono black run, I had like literally all 4 murders in like the first 10 cards. Yeah, for me, it's looking like it's just going to come down to some good top decks, which aren't islands. Trying to think of the high-end curve in this deck. I think the most expensive card that runs is Nazahal, which is 7. So let's see, we have 3, 4, 5. We have the knowledge that no matter what we draw into, we'll be able to play it. So whether or not it's going to be in our best interest just to hold lands, to bluff. Oh, it's running Goblin Trashmaster. So this is a Goblin Lord. In this case, it gives all other goblins, so not including the Taskmaster, +1/+1, so that includes the Swab Goblin. And he can sack a goblin to destroy an artifact. Thankfully, this is an enchantment, not an artifact, but we are drawing lands, which is not what I want right now. That's one thing I think this deck is lacking out on right now. I know we will have access to some card draw spells, which will ideally get us the hell out of top deck mode. Because right now we're on a clock, and he did play Gravewaker, so I won't be able to swing in with whatever I draw. Oh, this is a problem. Now, what saves us here? I think Azor saves us. I think Nazahal saves us. No, not even those, I think. Yeah, I think this one's done. Let's just see what opponent does here. Yeah, it's going to be bringing up more Gabos. Gravewalker has an ability, pay 7, return creature from graveyard to the battlefield tab. It's an expensive activation, but he has the mana. We're both floating on quite a bit right now. No reason for him not to swing with the bird, but you know what? I'm not going to complain. So what did we draw here? Nothing that will save us, I'm afraid. Now, if we happen to draw onto like a tap, like a disperse or something of the sort, we would have the game. But that's only because the opponent didn't swing in with his Gravewalker previously. Now, technically, as the board sits, we are not dead yet. He has 4 damage on the board. What I'm saying is there's a chance. There shouldn't be. Last turn on his turn, he should have just swung with everything. But, yeah, there's a chance he has a pump spell or something of the sort. We're just going to block the Swap Goblin. Ooh, if he has a shock, that might have been a... Doesn't matter if he had a shock. Well, it was a close game. We fought to 1 HP. Let's see, we can at least get one more game in here. Ideally a win. Okay, we're in another game with Frost Whisper. Too edgy for me. Let's see. I don't hate this curve, but it's not on theme. Right now, we have favorable wins. That is the only place I see here that has flying remotely related, but we'll see what we draw into. So we don't have a 1-drop, so we're going to get rid of Meandering River now. Then we will just curve from Stalwart to Hammer Skull to favorable wins if we have nothing. Doesn't look like Baby's first deck card. Let's see here. One good thing about the Stalwart, though, it has First Strike. So when combat happens, instead of damage being done at the same time, their damage goes through first. So in this case, we're just going to be playing things on curve. We might end up playing one with the wind next turn. Get a sort of flyer. Will actually be pretty big, especially if we get favorable winds down. He will be a 5/5 first striker in the air. But opponent has a decently large board coming up here. Let's see here. Trying to go through our play. We would play one with the winds. We would swing in with both. We would tap the Marshal. Yeah, I think that would be fine. Because that mentors this guy up to a 3/4, and he would have to get rid of him as it stands, he'd have to trade with everything. You know what? I don't hate this trade. Let's just double check our damage. We're swinging for 3. Doesn't matter too much. What would I rather them recur potentially? Let's not stress the details here. Our Mentory Boy swings. We get rid of 2. He does have this effect on his Marshal, where he can exile it and tap for a 2/2 zombie. But, ooh, I think he's gonna get rid of my Ceratops. Bummer. Opponent should probably swing here. Yeah. You can't hold anything back up as a blocker currently because I'm unblockable essentially as it stands. I find more value in the Ceratops than the Instructor as is potentially. It's weird because the Ceratops can, in a fight, kill the Ghoul, kill the Mass Token, whereas the Blade Instructor... You know what? Actually, I think I'm going to play the Blade Instructor, because that will stop him from swinging in with the Marshal. And if he does, I 1-for-1 it. Oh, he's giving his a Mass Token flying now. Okay. So he will, in fact, have a blocker for the Stalwart currently. Yeah, I'm more than okay with this trade. I don't want him to be able just to flood the board. Swing in. We have him dead next turn unless he has answers. And here's the thing. This feels wrong. This guy should not be the one winning the game for us. Now this Skylord, okay. Do you have a 1-cost amass card, or are you just holding on to a land? Oh, okay. No reason to take this extra damage. Just swing for lethal. Hit him with a good game. Good game, opponent. Okay, guys, now that we've gotten a couple games under our belt, we're going to be looking at my 1.5 version. Again, this is not going to be optimized. It's just going to be some cards swapped around that I didn't really like too much, and we're going to go from there. So in this case, we've added another Healer's Hawk. We added in a bunch of Siren Storm Tamers. They're another 1/1 flyer, and they also kind of work not necessarily as counter magic, but by definition, like proper counter magic. Because with one island, you're going to be able to sacrifice it to counter a spell that targets a creature targets you or a creature you control. So we're going to have a bit more survivability in that regard. Cut most of our Sunhome Stalwarts. Still one just sitting in there because we're dealing with a very limited card pool. Got our Kitesail Corsair still. One of my in-card rewards from getting here was a Nightveil Sprite. It's a 1/2 for 2 with flying. And whenever it attacks Surveil, Surveil lets us look at the top card of our library and we can discard it or put it at the bottom. In this case, that's going to allow us to, once we're flooding like it seems like we usually do, just bottom that land every time it attacks. Plus, with favorable winds out, it's going to be a 2/3, which makes it decently resilient. Let's see what else we added. Gotten a couple charter courses. In this case, it's draw 2, then discard a card unless you attacked. In this deck, we're going to be attacking quite a bit, so hopefully the card draw can keep our tempo going in. Still have our Disperse, favorable winds down here. There's some things I still don't like. I don't really like the Pegasus Courser as we evolve our deck and get rid of most of our ground creatures. Probably going to cut them. Still got a few of these in here. Another in-card reward, Sphinx of New Prov. It's in our colors. It's a little bit hard to cast. I'm going to be real with you here. We're running the right colors, but it demands 2 plains and 2 islands, which might be hard, but it's a 1 of. I'm not too worried about it being a problem. 4/3 flying vigilance. Any spells that target her cost 2 more to cast. Still got the Settle, still got our Angels. One of our other top ends that I decided to swap in for, I forgot the big beefy boy who was very expensive and not really on theme, is Windstorm Drake. It's a 3/3 for 5, which isn't great, but especially when we're on the aggro plan, this could win us the game if we have a full board. So let's just say we have a handful of Healer's Hawk, some Corsairs. We throw this out and get like an Anthem effect with all of our flying creatures getting +1/+0. It's like another favorable wins, essentially. And then we still have our Azor, he big burb. We got Light of the Legion. Still decent. I think we're running enough white creatures still to make it worth running. So, yeah, we're going to give this one a spin and see how it goes. Now, not very smartly, I haven't really done a test run of this one. I basically hot swapped as we went. I'm glad we got rid of those Blade Instructors, though. I really don't like that card. So let's see. We are up against Boop Boop Jenkins. See what our hand is looking. We got Meandering River, we got 2 planes, Courser. It's looking a little bit expensive. Let's just mulligan down. Not much better, but at least we have a 2-drop into some card draw. And yeah, I don't hate hitting our 3rd land here. Say hello to our opponent. Hello! I see you two are also up till like 3 in the morning. Slam our Warkite. This one's kind of a cool card. Flying as usual, and whenever it attacks, you are able to, what's your word? You turn one creature into an 0/1, so if they're dealing with flyers or anything else that can block your dudes, and they lose all traits. So in this case, let's just say we had they had an Azor out. When we would swing in, we would essentially be turning him into a 0/1 body. That's it. Nothing fancy until the end of the turn. Now, I feel like we're fine eating this damage here. We really want to get a swing off so we can get this Chart of the Course going. And this part's not too relevant. Like that, just a 0/1. Doesn't do anything fancy anymore. Draw some cards, and we are getting a shitload of land. Who knew that that's never happened to me before? And one good thing is the way that at least we've gotten our boatloads of land is if we do get the Sphinx of New Prov, at least we'll have the double island and double planes to cast it. And then next turn, no matter what happens, we'll be able to kite sail Corsair and then get a little bit more threatening in the air with Windstorm Drake. Sadly, he did use a Rabid Bite on our currently only alive creature, so yeah, we'll go from there. There you go, bud. Confirm. Let's see. Okay, we're flooding out even with a little bit of card draw. At least we know everything we have will be playable. We're gonna be able to hit Azor on curve, which is nice. That's a thing. We're gonna have a big 6/6 boy who has a pay effect. So the following turn, if we have no plays because all we did was draw land, which definitely sounds like us, we'll be able just to splurge our mana and just ideally heal up a little bit and draw some cards. I'm actually trying to figure out how bad of a game plan that is right now. I think I don't block yet, but we're getting to the point where I might want to start. The one good thing with the Drake is it's big enough to at least block the Highland game, Druid of the Cowl. Let's do. Well, you would have been cool earlier. We're going to whip this Windstorm Drake out right now. See with him, he's going to be a 3/1 from the Anthem effect on all other flyers. And I think we can take another hit from the Bristling Boar. I am concerned if he just whips out a Galta this turn, though. They always have it. Actually, if they had it, I think. You know what? I'm okay with the Meteor Golem here. I'm not too keen on taking 6 in the face right now, because that's going to be bringing me down to 7. But I'm okay with Azor. He's my guy. He's my guy right now. The big Sphinx boy, and right now I think we have to hold back blockers. I don't like it, but I think that's the situation as it stands. So we're both kind of in top deck mode. The one benefit I have is I'm going to be able to draw cards too. Oh, I wish you had Vigilance, Azor. So let's see. Swing. Let's see how much mana we have available. So it is 3, and we gain X and draw X. So right now we could gain 4 and draw 4. Is that something we want to expose ourselves for? What we can do, as much as I am chagrined to use Storm Tamers as chump blockers here, that's exactly what they're going to be in this situation. So in this case, we are going to swing with Azor. And let's see, what were those costs again? And it needed double blue. I'm an idiot. Okay. Well, maybe we're just going to swing with our Corsair and we're going to ignore how stupid I am. And if it needed double blue, we're just going to get rid of our last Storm Tamer. Yeah, for some reason I thought it was double white. I do not use Azor the Lawbringer enough. Okay. But yeah, in that regard, Azor's always seemed like a win more card to me. In this case, it can lock down opponent for a turn. But... oh god, this is concerning. It doesn't have trample though, we're okay. It's when it gets trample we should be concerned. Okay. So let's see what are smart blocks here. That's an easy choice. That's an easy choice. You, and we need to hold you. Yeah, I think that's fine. Oh, he's gonna have a Titanic Growth, yeah. Should have blocked. Alright. Okay, let's see if I can get a win with this guy. Okay, so what are we dealing with? Froga. Now this I like. Turn 1, we can Healer's Hawk. We have Glacial Fortress, which will come into play untapped because of our planes. So we have that into that, or this into Corsair. I'm totally fine with this. I feel like we're going to go right into Corsair. We're going to go a bit more aggressive here. 1 drop to 2 drop to more card draw, depending on what shows up. Yeah, I'm kind of a fan of that line of play. And then next turn, assuming we don't have a 3 drop, we're just going to be able to chart a course. Playing his own Mentory Boy. We know that card quite well. Which means we'll probably play Hammer Skull instead. Because as it stands, that one will be able to just block it without any issues. Well, we just continue just to swing high. Ooh, Legion War Boss, huh? At the start of each combat, he's going to be basically whipping out a goblin that's a 1/1 that's forced to attack. So he's able to mentor it up once, but I did get rid of the stalwart, so I'm not sure if I agree with his line of play there, to be quite frank. Let's see. Still think we hold back our ground boy there. Now, we're not flooding, but you know what? I wouldn't hate to get a few more land drops this game. We're not screwed yet. We're not stuck on like 2 mana. The board's going pretty wide. We might have a decent settle coming up if we can just... ooh. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I don't see an issue with this line of play right now. So again, we're just going to continue swinging with our evasive creatures. We'll hold the settle up. If he swings with everything for like a big power swing, we're just gonna wipe the board. Come on, buddy. I know you want it. Oh, there it is. It feels so right, but so wrong. No. I was able to count mana, right? Okay. Cool. And we settle our opponent here. He's going to get a shitload of lands out of this, but hopefully that'll be irrelevant when we just beat his ass for the next 2 turns. Now we're going to have to wait for him potentially to click through his library just to add... I mean, he's at like 7 lands. Let's see, he's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of land. All right. Cool. Now, what can we do that would be relevant here? Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's no way for us just to force out lethal here. Probably just whip out the Courser. Thinking about it, Aerosaur is probably the better choice there. That damage might be relevant, but... more likely than not so much. And he scoops, okay. So yeah, I definitely like the addition of the Storm Tamers and the Extra Hawk. Having those early flyers just to get in that damage early is just so good. And I'm always a fan of a spicy settle. It feels so right, but so wrong. Yeah, that'll probably do it for this episode, except for that extra bonus part where we are going to be opening some packs. So if you guys were unaware of the whole promo code system, you just go into the store and there's going to be that redeem code function in the top right. Now, if you want, some of these were case sensitive, some aren't. Apparently, misinformation abounds with those. But what we will do is enter them as if they are. In this case, Play Ravnica should be getting you 3 Guilds of Ravnica boosters. You're also going to have, let's see if I can spell it, Play Allegiance. Same thing, it's going to get you 3 Ravnica Allegiance booster packs there. And most recently, don't like this one, Play War Spark, which will get you 3 War of the Spark boosters. That one just does not roll off the tongue. Let's see, we're just going to go in order. We're just going to open up some guilds real quick. What do we have that might be of use? You know what, Muse Drake, I don't see that having a home, but it's a new flyer. It's an option, a new Mentor Boy in our Boros colors. Let's see, we got some recurring removal, a big Convoke creature, and Quasi-Duplicate. I don't think this card is that good, but it's fun. Sorcery speed, 3 mana. You can create a token that's a copy of a creature you control. So let's just say you could, in a way, if you don't have play sets of things and want to have multiple, I don't know, Jade Light Ranger or whatever that card's out, and you're running some green, some blue, or whatever you're doing to try to make things work, you can maybe swap in a Quasi-Duplicate. I don't think it's ideal, but it could work. Let's see what we got an uncommon wild card. So I don't remember if I specified these. You can redeem wild cards for a card of any of the rarity the card is. So an uncommon card for an uncommon wild card. Let's see what we got here. Artful Takedown, I really like it. For common control colors in Dimir, like black, blue, real solid. Let's see, everything else so far is a bit mediocre. We got another uncommon wild card, which is great. Keep giving those, please. Justice Strike is pretty decent removal. Oh shit, we got a Dream Eater. That's pretty solid. 6-drop, pretty expensive, mythic rare. 4/3 flash flying, so we can end step this on their turn. We can surveil 4, look at the top 4 cards, decide what we want on the top or the bottom, and we can do a bounce effect. So this could be a pretty cool tempo card. This could be decent top end in our flyers, as weird as that sounds. Let's see what we have here. Cavalier's fine, but it's a little bit cost prohibitive. Flower Flourish, some Selesnya cards going so far, and Ritual of Suit, fantastic. In this case, it's a board wipe for every creature that is mana cost 3 or less. So you're running control against aggro. Like, imagine this against the deck we were just playing. We have the board full of really cheap flyers. They're all dead now. So not cool. Now we're going to deal with our Allegiance boosters. Let's see here. So we got a Frilled Mystic, same thing. A lot of these things that are like green, green, blue, blue are double costed. They're quite hard to cast, and they almost rely on you having a lot of dual lands in your deck. It's not for nothing. Frilled Mystic's real solid. It's a 3/2 body, and it can counter a spell. And we also got another Simic card, Simic Ascendancy. I don't think this card is good. It has an alternate win condition built in, and it's kind of fun, but when you're starting as a free-to-play player and you want some bomb cards, not the one for you. Or some uncommon wild card. What do we have here? Skewer the Critics, real good card. It's at a common, so it won't be an issue if we ever decide to do some red burn. Archway Angel Gates might be, oddly enough, one of the more affordable archetypes for us to get into, because the mana base is just Guild Gates, which are very easy to make. And an Incubation Druid. This might have home if we decide to do some green stompy. Just get some decent ramp as an alternative to the 1/3 Druid. I forgot the name. And then some other fine cards, Lizrogs, whatever, but I like Imperious Oligarch. It's a decent common in Orzhov. It's a little bit hard to cast, requiring white and black, so on turn 2, you need that or you just can't play her. See what we got here. Eyes everywhere. It's just a scry on upkeep. It's not that good. It's kind of weird, gimmicky, but I don't like this. You can pay 6 to exchange control for a different permanent, but then when they control it, they can just swap it back. It's weird. Carnival Carnage is pretty solid in Rakdos. For 1, it's ping 1 to the creature, 1 to their face. Really good against early drops or when you just need that little bit more damage. Carnage is where it's at, though. 3 damage to opponent, they discard 2. If you can play that on curve, you could very well just empty out their hand with that card. Rakdos is cool. I love him. He's a big demon boy. He's not that good. He's a coin flip mechanic. He could hit everything you want him to hit. That's not a demon, devil, or imp. Or he'll hit nothing. Or he'll only hit things on your side of the board. He's a 6/6 flying trample boy for 6, which isn't bad, but everything else about him is a little bit meh. Still love the guy. And now we're at our 5-packs. Okay, War of the Spark. Most recent set. See, and we're going to start getting some Planeswalkers, too. Let's see. We got a bounce effect that can protect our cards, and we have a different Art of Giant Growth, the card that killed us in a game earlier. Some sideboard material, some commons, some decent art. Rescuer Sphinx is... I don't know. There's some things that have enter the battlefield effects, which could make this card pretty good. But I'm trying to think of any enter the battlefield triggers that we are running currently that I really want to throw this in, and I can't off the cuff. Tibalt is weird because I think he's a pretty decent sideboard walker if you're playing mono red against some niche scenarios where people are running life gain. Because if you can just turn that off, it's pretty solid. And we close the pack, but Fibblethip is kind of a junk rare. I love him, he's great, and I'm so happy they made a card for him, but I think he's not what you're looking for. So let's see. We got another ramp creature. I don't like this one. It's a 2/4 for 4. Gains you life, but there's not going to be many times where a turn 4. I'm really hoping for my ramp creature to show up. That's more of a turn 1 or 2 type deal. Amass is a mechanic that we might play with, but I don't think Relentless Advance is a good card. It's big and life gainy, but it's whatever. It's that 6 mana. Prismite's color fixing, but it's a 2/1 for 2. No thank you. Weird there might be a home if we do some weird red, blue, spells matter deck, but I think there's other better cards out there. Let's see. Yeah, Dovin's Veto. Anything dual color, that's the issue with the current state of our library. Dual colored cards are not our friend, because we're probably going to be focusing primarily on single colored decks, because you don't have to worry about having like 20 plus rare lands in your deck, like Esper Control. And Planner-wide Celebration. Let's see here. It's a 7 cost. We're playing green, so it's pretty solid as far as ramp's concerned. And you can choose any of the modes more than once, but 4 times. So you can make a 2/2 citizen, return a permanent from your graveyard to your hand, proliferate or gain 4 life. I feel like this might end up just in our green deck because it's cool. I just don't know how solid that card is. Dovin Veto's real good in the decks that use it, but that won't be us for a while. Let's see. We got some mana fixing here. We got that hand hate card for 3. It's a bit expensive though. This one probably won't find its way into our blue flyers, but if we're doing again a spells matter deck where our creatures are getting, or the creatures we do run are getting buffed as we play the spells we're playing anyways, it might see some use. Maybe there's a home for this card somewhere. Yeah, again, another spells matter thing. This could be your top end. If you have, let's just say, 15 cards in your graveyard when you whip them out, you can basically kill any creature that he has, or that they'd have on the field. Just a divination, draw 2. If you happen to have Jace, more the better. We begin. Sarkhan the Masterless. Okay, he's cool. I've seen some decks run him as a win con, just swinging with a bunch of planeswalker dragons, but we still haven't gotten anything really swingy that I want something that'll help us win. Got a rare wild card just from opening boosters, another uncommon. Big Gator, then a mask card again. This card is essentially a bear. At its worst, it's a 2/2 for 2. At its best, you have some proliferate shenanigans going on. Prison Realm's more white removal with a scry effect. It's pretty decent. I actually kind of like this card. Ravnica at War, if we do end up doing any weird mono white stuff, might show up. Just because we are lacking in other removal. Come on. Last booster. Something real good. Some bomb rare. Give me a god. Give me something cool. So we got Eternal Skylord. Amassed 2. All zombie tokens you control have flying. So our amassed 1. Paradise Druid I like, because it has hexproof and it's a mana dork. In this case, empty board, you have nothing to ramp into. Cool, it can swing for 2. That's not bad. Board where the enemy's playing burn, at least when it's untapped, you are going to be able to still get 1 good tap out of it. 1 good mana ramp, which is something. Okay. Finale of Revelation is a cool card. It's not necessarily a card I wanted to see at this point. It's basically just a shit ton of card draw, which I might end up slotting in somewhere in some way, shape, or form, but I was really hoping for some better cards from these boosters. But again, thanks so much for watching. I hope if you guys didn't know about the codes, now you do. More the better for you guys. But yeah, I'm Dr. Rhett. This is going to be the end of this episode. It's a long one. I'm tired. Catch y'all tomorrow. Bye for now, everybody.